my understanding, it means that there is a dysfunctioning of the normal distribution of powers between the institution, of the systems of checks and balances, for example, the independence of the judiciary. And where this occurs, it is very important first to state that there is a problem, to recall the actors that they have stick to the rules, especially to the constitutional setup. Each institution in a democratic rule of law state has its task to do and has to refrain from interfering in the task of the others. And if such a situation or such a problem occurs, everything has to be done to address the problem. And in a certain way, with this and simple word of capturing of state or decapturing of state, it means that coming back where problems occur to the basic standards and basic rules of rule of law and democracy. I understand that there have been some problems with recent elections, and again, proper conducting of elections is the very, very basis of a democracy. Everything is built on that those people who represent the people in the parliament, be it local, municipal or national, have to be elected according to the rules. So that is something which is very important. Like in many other countries, also in the region, and like as it has been underlined by the European institutions for a long time, rule of law is a major issue of concern. Rule of law is of course a broad issue with many aspects, but the core aspect of rule of law is of course the good and independent functioning of the judiciary. I understand that quite a lot needs to be done also in this country on this. And this is certainly not, as sometimes people misunderstand, to be done to please Brussels or to get quicker into the European Union or towards membership. It is very much in the interest of the people. And people have to trust their state, and they trust their state if their parliament functions well, and they trust their state if they are confident if they have a problem that they can go to courts and that their cases are being dealt correctly and independently. It's not easy to say because especially in a situation like we are facing everywhere in Europe and the world now, where we have many crises, a war in Europe which we couldn't imagine 10 or 15 years ago that this would happen again. Here in this region there's a much more fresh memory on what a war means. So all these big issues, and the pandemic was another big issue, are at risk to distracting a bit from the other important things. And therefore the first point to start with is to saying, well, the problems in the field of rule of law and the possible state capturing, they don't disappear because there are even bigger problems. On the contrary, both has to be done in parallel. But if you ask me where to start, since I mentioned in the area of rule of law, the functioning of the judiciary is so important that I would say this is certainly one of the core issues to be addressed.